All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are here with one of the most prolific coaches in the YouTube boxing scene. Please welcome Coach Solomon. I just want to
Like,
welcome you here, and obviously, I want to ask you about like some questions before we get into some other stuff. But I want to ask you what got you into like the sport of boxing.
I'm like third generation, so my grandfather, my father boxed, my uncle boxed, so I watched boxing since young, and
Okay,
just always been around boxing my whole life, really.
okay, that's fair. And not even just getting into boxing, but like you're now a coach, and obviously, I feel like when a lot of people go into boxing, I feel like there's I feel like a minority that actually want to go and coach other people. So where did you get that interest of doing that?
Yeah, so I used to box at a club called St Albans Amateur Boxing Club,
Okay,
and I've always been very analytical with boxing, always been able to break down things and fighters and what you should do and what you shouldn't do. And one of my good friends, Moses, he used to box with me, and I used to always give him tips when we was outside the ring spot once he finished sparring. And one day he was like, "Oh man, you should be a coach." And I was like, "Oh, you man, like I want to be a fighter, like I want to be a champion." But
fair
like
enough.
years down the line, I became a coach, and everyone kind of finds. I hope everyone finds their true calling in life, should I say? And I found mine, and I feel like it's because I like to see people happy and improve, and I get like satisfaction from seeing someone happy. So like even gift giving, helping them better themselves as a person, let alone a boxer, those kind of things give me satisfaction in life rather than doing anything for myself. So going a little bit further, that Jay, you have to be selfless to be a coach. Like it can never be about you. It has to always be about your fighters.
Fair enough. How many years have you been doing it right now?
I'm 5 years deep now. No, sorry,
5 years of coaching. Okay.
6 years now.
6. Okay. And what's so around that and so around these like past 6 years too, I think, the growth of influencers wanting to box and obviously, especially for quite a while, and there's still kind of that, what is it? Kind of that criticism of where like, oh, why are these influencers boxing? So I want to ask
Mhm.
like, how did you did you ever felt like at first that, oh, I don't want to train any of these influencers and then obviously kind of grown out of that. And
You know what? I was part of the first Showstar event, and
mhm,
initially I was coaching Deji for that, and you know, we just didn't work out. Me and
yeah,
Deji on good terms, and he's a good guy. And it was actually the guy that runs Showstar, who isn't the guy that was doing Kingpin actually, but his name's Kay. So he kind of said that people had been in touch to train. So he pointed me in. So Deji didn't work out, and then Salt contacted him saying, "Look, I want to train like with coach." And that by that point, I was like, "Now I'm fed up with like the YouTube stuff because how the thing with Deji went." So I wasn't very interested. But then Salt, or how Minicon calls him Buster at the time, Buster Breezy came to the gym, and I was like, "Look, I'll give you a trial." I didn't say that to him. I was giving him a trial, and yeah, like he passed everything. He was really dedicated, and you know what? We're here now.
that's fair enough. And I've kind of noticed, with when you coach, it's obviously no, I don't want to accept everyone. It's kind of have to like, you kind of have to earn it in order to coach with you.
Mm.
So what are some standards that you put for you to coach boxers or influencer boxers? What's like I guess standards I would say.
You have to have like some kind of respect, number one. But I'd say, like for anyone, like if you're getting taught anything in life, like at school, sports or whatever, if you don't trust in your coach, then you're just wasting your time and wasting your coach's time. You should just go elsewhere. So I need my fighters to completely trust in what I say. And of course, sometimes we're just human, and we may not do the things that a coach wants. Like no one can follow a game plan to a T at times, but as long as you try and as long as you completely trust in your coach, that's all good. And that's what I require. Because if
Hmm.
that's the case, if they trust in you, then they will do what you tell them. And then everything works out perfectly.
Okay, then. How do you like, and just kind of more into like the influencer boxing thing? Is like, how do you feel about the future of it? Yeah, there's obviously some discussions about the longevity of influencer boxing,
Mm.
either closing it in 5 years or even beyond. So how like where do you see influencer boxing or misfits just be in the future?
I don't think it's going to end anytime soon. I think it's going to keep building.
Hmm.
Boxing getting massive, and I think these guys are a massive reason towards it. So I think if influencer boxing died down, then boxing will also lose a little bit of its charm in the way that these guys are bringing it. They're bringing a lot of attention. They're bringing more kids to the gym. Like there's a lot more sign-ups to gyms all over the UK, and I'm sure all over other parts of the world as well. I
Hmm.
don't think it's ending. I think it's only going to grow. I think Misfits have done a great job. It's they're giving these guys a platform to perform on, and yeah, I can't see it ending, man. I know they got a 5-year deal, but I just think it's going to carry on. There's going to be new blood. We've got new blood down there.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's just gonna. I can't see it. If it did, it'd be. Yeah, I just can't, Jay, because there's money in it.
Yeah.
So people obviously, when there's money, it makes sense. So someone's going to want to do it, whether it's
Okay.
Misfits or not. But I think Misfits are going to be around for a very long time.
Yeah, I feel like Misfits is like that UFC of of
Mm.
this thing just being here. I mean, it wasn't technically here first, but it's the first to like at least do a
Do
lot
it
of
on that.
events.
Yeah.
So I mean that's
You got to
that's
remember,
that.
Misfits they've also got a broadcaster in the zone, so
Hmm.
that's taking it to the next level. And the zone are like the major players now on boxing on broadcasting level. So especially with Showtime going down recently,
Yeah. Hmm.
it is what it is.
Yeah, no, that's big to actually have. Because I remember talking to someone about Misfits being a part of DAZN, and like
Mm.
it's kind of that good thing of what is it, having that credibility, just being a part of a big platform like DAZN could definitely you know be there just longevity wise, because DAZN is still here, and I think DAZN has been like a platform what since 2018 ish. I forgot how long it's been there. It's ever since
I think
they
yeah, yeah. I
around
can't
there.
remember. Yeah, around that time,
Yeah,
I think.
for sure. I want to ask you one other thing too, because obviously you have a lot of boxing experience and the new judging system that Misfits wants to implement. How do you feel about what they're trying to do with the jury? I think yeah, it's like a jury
I'm
and
all for it.
everything. You're all for it?
Yeah, yeah. I like that they do different stuff now. It's entertainment, man. Like,
Hmm.
and as long as they keep it entertaining, that will keep longevity as well with Misfits and the influencer boxing. It's got to be these guys are entertainers. Of course, you can see the improvements on all of these guys and the fights. Even last card was unbelievable. All of the fights were competitive, in my opinion. Um, so yeah, like the fights that I got to see, I got there a little bit late, but
Yeah.
I think it's good. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how it works, and you know, I know Mams is a smart bloke for doing all of that stuff, so I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, for sure. I really respect Mams for obviously tackling a problem. It might, we don't know whether it will be the solution or not, but at least going at the problem and trying to figure something out is
Mm.
the most respect to obviously Mams for trying to do something. Could I was gonna ask like because like the whole like jury thing, and I tried hearing him out about it. There's only one other thing that like can push this back is maybe the process of like finding the result of the match being too long.
I'm
I
sure
was.
they'll have some, and it's tough to talk about that stuff because you don't know what kind of measures they've got in place. But yeah, I think that's a question that a lot of people are going to ask, Jay. Like, is
Mhm.
it going to slow down everything? Like, is it going to add time in the corners or you know break up play? Because soccer has it over here now,
Yeah,
and it has slowed down soccer a lot. But I'm sure they've got their methods they're working on, and that's what I'm looking forward to what they actually do with it.
fair enough. Yeah. And more on to Misfits, right? This past weekend was Misfits 011, or it was Friday actually, 2 days ago. I thought it
Mhm.
feels like it's a while now.
Yeah.
How did you feel about, Misfits 11 overall, and anyone that you see that could definitely evolve from that event?
Yeah, Misfits 11, I think, was like one of the best ones they've done. Like everyone
Mhm.
came to fight, so they made for some really good matchups.
Yeah.
Um, and I think all of these guys, man, they're all going to improve because really and truly, all of them are novices. Obviously, you got like Musin Kaysen as a
Hmm.
professional, he's a novice, so he's a polished professional. But still, he's got. We all have room for improvement. But I think they're all going to evolve. There's some fights that happened. Like obviously, even the guys that lost or the ladies that lost, they kind of came out with a lot of credibility. Like B Dave gave a really good fight against Jarvis. Jarvis won. I think he was expected to, but he definitely got some trouble from B Dave, and I think that's going to give B Dave big opportunities in the future because he's definitely an entertaining fighter. Julie Poker versus Elena Vampira. I think Elena as well, she showed that she could fight, and she's definitely got opportunities. And Minikon, who's here as well,
Hmm.
was in a tremendous fight. So much heart shown in that from both fighters, and we, obviously glad that Arms is okay. But
Yeah.
Arms won the fight, respect to him, and but then Minikon as well. Like he's such an animal, man. Like so, it just he's got a big future as well. So
Oh,
because
for
the
sure.
fights were so competitive and not really like you know one-sided too much, like in the main card. Even OJ versus Gabe. OJ he lost when I was watching ringside. I scored it OJ, but when I watched it back, I did give it back to Gabe. But
Hmm.
proved that he could fight, and I think that's the good thing that's come from Misfits 11 is that we
Yeah.
realised that a lot of every fighter that's on it has big future.
No, for sure. I was kind of gonna follow up with like who've been like the most surprised on their progression in the scene, because I mean, especially even last night too, like OJ for sure, and I don't think he's been boxing for a year, and he's fighting Gabe Silva in his fourth fight. So I'm like, I think that's like,
Mm.
I just think some of these progression on some of these influencer boxers I'm like really shocked about on how they're doing.
Yeah, like I always say, you can't ever expect them to fight the same in the next fight because they're always in the gym learning new things because you
Hmm.
know they're all novices. Um, yeah, I was impressed with all of them really, if I'm honest. Um, yeah, every single person's improved. They're just improving on their styles. I'll probably touch on the Jackrabbit gym if I'm honest. I think the fighters from Jackrabbit are like you can tell the coach isn't trying to make him a different fighter. He's Coach Sil, very good coach, unbelievable coach. He's trying to make them better versions of themselves.
Yeah.
So you can see like they all fight differently, but they're getting better at what they do. If you give
Hmm.
him come like B Dave has his style, but you can see that he had a lovely jab in the fight with Jarvis. Couple of rounds later on, he definitely out jabbed Jarvis. Um, and then Minikon, obviously, he's got that style. Um, you know, he's very strong, resilient, and he can make it messy in there as well. And they haven't tried to take that away from him too much. They just tried adding to it, which has obviously made him a better fighter as well. And then Uncle Pizza, again, he's quite a polished fighter, and he looks very strong. And you can see that again, that was a really good fight against Yadi Gang, wasn't it? A really close fight.
Man, that was a
So
very
yeah,
good.
I'd like to say the guys at that gym are definitely ones to watch out for.
Hmm. Yeah, no, yeah, Uncle Pizza and Yeti Gang both I'm really cool with, and I was shocked about how they both did, to be honest, on how they
Yeah,
fought. I mean, Uncle Pizza's he's very good at getting to the body, in my opinion, just having those body shots. And Yeti Gang TV, but shout out Elijah, he a lot of the punches that he had, it was a slick back right, I think is what they call it, where he like steps back and
yeah,
just
all
throws that
right,
right
yeah,
hand. That
all
was
right.
landing for him a lot. I was really surprised on how like he did
Is
in
it?
that
They're
match.
both good fighters, definitely, and
Oh,
that
for sure.
lightweight division in its own is hot. Like that's the hottest division.
Oh, yeah,
With Willie
100%.
Green, Yadi Gang. You got Fox coming into that soon. I hope.
Hope so,
Hopefully have
yeah.
some fight. Yeah, we'll have some fight news soon. But
Oh, no, for
after his
sure.
first fight, we're not messing around.
Alright, sorry about that. You had to ask me one thing. Alright. Wait, what were we just on about? I'm sorry.
135 and Fox coming into it, and
I
I'm
got
gonna
some
be
questions
honest.
about you training Fox. I want to ask about a few things for sure.
Go
It'll
for
be
it.
it'll be later though. It'll be later. I want to first, what I want to get into is, um how's Salt been? I think there hasn't been too much news about ever since the prime card with Salt. I just want to see how he's been recovering since then and how he wants to like bounce back and everything.
nothing to really recover on, man. Like he's a good fighter. He, in my opinion, like a lot of people thought he was winning the fight until Slim caught him, but it was a bad night for him. Like everyone has a bad night. I don't even when he was winning the fight, there was things that I wasn't happy with that he was doing. But
Hmm.
like I said, like he he's a novice as well. He's had 5 fights, and he was carrying demons from the Anthony Taylor fight into this. Trying to outwork Slim. He was trying to beat him in every category he possibly could. And when you do that, you do leave gaps.
Yeah.
And credit to Slim as well. Like he's a tough fighter. He got through some real rough times. In my opinion, he was 3 rounds down when he stopped Salt in the fourth. So respect to him. He hung in there. He didn't quit. He showed real heart. I expected that from him anyway. If I'm honest, we knew that he's got a lot of heart. But Salt's
Hmm.
good, man. Salt's a fighter. Like he generally is. If there's fighters in this scene, Salt is definitely a fighter.
Oh no,
Like
respect the Salt,
you know,
100%.
you don't get up from shots like that and come back and try and knock someone out. Like he was just fighting on instinct in that fourth round. He got rocked early on, really early on in that fight, in that round, and then he carried on. But yeah, he's good. He's back in the gym. He had that long spot. That was his first spar back with AT. You can watch it on Fox's channel,
Yeah,
and he's back in, man. He's a dog, and he's going to come back strong, definitely.
for sure. Respect the Salt. And
We're going to
how
come
do
for that
you?
rematch, too, definitely.
I'm sorry.
We're going to come for that rematch too, definitely. So
Oh yeah, get the whether you want to call it either a trilogy or just a the second
yeah,
fight.
it will be a trilogy because next time, our Slim's a good fighter. I'm not underestimating him, but next time,
Yeah,
we know where we went wrong, and we're going to put that right.
for sure. And I just want to ask, just the overall year for Salt Poppy. How do you kind of rate this year just for 2023 boxing for Salt? You think it's a good year? You think it's more of a learning year that he can improve on? Because I'll be honest,
I
because like
think it's
on
both.
paper, for some people, I'm just doing devil's advocate, right? On paper, it might not be the best, but when we see him box, there's a lot of potential and skill that I think everyone really gives him credit for. So how do you view this year for Salt?
I see where you're coming from. A lot of
Mhm.
people have a lot of views, which are irrelevant to what really matters. So this year he's had 3 fights, right?
Yeah.
He's won one against Josh, lost on a decision against Anthony Taylor, and lost by a stoppage against Slim. He's been
Hmm.
on 3 pay-per-view events. Um, and in that time, what we all forget is that he's become a global superstar,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
In that time, what we all forget is after beating Josh Breckner, people told us that he should turn pro and become a champion.
Hmm.
But this scene is a very toxic scene. You lose a fight and now you're shit.
Yep.
But we're good. We're good. We're good with that. And Jarvis and all of these guys that we might talk about. When I've been seeing comments of people like when they're saying, "Oh, what about Salt versus Jarvis or Deji?" and all of them like, "Ah, yeah, that's not right for Salt." But go back 6 months,
Oh
seven
yeah.
months ago, that was a different story, right?
Different
So
story for sure.
this is
Hmm.
the scene that we're in, and that can teach all of you guys, everyone out there, all the fighters, that one big win and you're back at the top. Like Salt, if he comes out and does another performance like he can, listen, if Salt carried on the way he did against Slim and won that, everyone would have started talking about how he should go pro again. So at the
True.
moment he lost, and now they're like, oh, Salt's overrated, blah blah blah. Listen, he was overrated after the Josh fight because he's a novice. How are you going to turn pro?
Hmm.
And these are pro people talking about it, which shows you most people don't know shit about boxing, right? We know what he's about. He's a quality fighter. He's definitely one of the best in the scene, if not the best. I'm still going to say that, like because he takes the fights. He ain't a bottle job that tries to pick and choose who comes. Listen, the fights that have been put forward, we ain't selected. That's what the fans have wanted, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
We could fight the likes of whoever. I don't even want to say names because I'm not disrespectful like that. But we picked the big fights. He's an entertainer. He comes to entertain. So, maybe other people can follow suit. That's all I'd say. But it's up to them. They got their own journeys. But Salt's ready and he will come back. And I think the year's been brilliant. And going back to the question,
Hmm.
I think it's been a good year for his popularity. He's found himself a little bit disappointed with some of the results, but also it's been a learning year.
For sure. For sure. I'm really, what is it? one thing I will say, and I really respect Salt for, is that he's been fighting 3 times this year is very active, and obviously he got no matter what, he has more eyeballs to his name, and so I really, like I said, I really respect how he's been doing overall this year. And you're not wrong about what you said about how the community can really sway his opinions, but I don't even think it's just a community thing. That's just social media. Whereas like
Mhm.
one fight you're the worst one ever, and then you
Yeah.
win another one, oh, you're back up to the top. I mean, I've seen that with Salt on this occasion. I think I'm currently seeing that with Ryan Garcia too. So it's
Mm.
like it's just it sways for everyone, and that's just it's annoying. I mean, more than anything, but
He'll come back.
it.
He'll be, he's a superstar. They need him on the shows. People love to watch him. And
Oh,
he'll
for
come
sure.
back and he'll be champion for sure.
Hmm. Yeah, and uh, I want to go to one other person right before we wrap it up. Obviously the person that's sitting at the corner over there, Fox, right? He's been staying he's been staying over in the at your house, right? Training in the UK. How impressed are you of coaching with Fox?
Yeah, he's got a lot of talent.
Hmm.
He's the new blood, like I say. He's going to be the new superstar coming through. Um, Hopefully get a fight news soon. But yeah, I don't want to say too much, but he's going to take over.
Fair enough. How about what's the story between you two coming together and you wanting to coach him? How did that all
I'm
come
a,
about? Because obviously Fox is from the US, you from the UK, right? How did that all like work out from there?
First of all, I was a fan. He was one of 6 people I subscribed to. I don't know how he came up on my feed. And then he got selected to be the ring announcer on Misfits One. And I was like, oh
Okay.
shit, he's there. Like, oh, cool. Then we met up and we got along, and that was it. That's all she wrote. And then
Hmm.
he went to come train, and of course I'd have him.
Okay. That's fair. And what is it? One other thing, before we kind of like wrap up with this like whole segment, uh where do you see the potential? Obviously, because you're the only one really besides this, like, the partners around him that coach him every day, that's with him all the time. Where do you see his potential at the end of the day, fighting all these fighters?
Um, I think he's going to definitely go to the top. He's going to be a superstar 100%. Already is in his own right. But, after his first fight, we'll be chasing the big dogs. We ain't waiting around.
All right.
Everyone will see what he's capable of. Like, there's no point jumping in with them straight away. You don't go straight to the big bosses. But again, we're not talking people like Dean after the first fight.
Oh yeah.
But the likes of a Yadi gang and people like that, we may be hunting them. You know,
Hmm.
um, yeah, because he's definitely on that level, or if not above. But it's a new scene, it's a new experience. You don't jump into those big fights straight away. So we're going to take the first fight with whoever it is that we can get, and then after that, we'll definitely be chasing an exciting fight.
Fair enough. And just last thing before we end the interview here, right? So I'm gonna say this or not. I've never been to the UK. However, a lot of friends in the scene that've been to the UK, they're not the biggest fan of the food. And so I just want to say, from someone who's lived in the UK, I think you've lived in the UK all your life, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know.
Yeah.
What's your recommendation for people that are coming from a different country, trying out the food here? What's the type of food that they want to try and everything?
These Americans all go and eat fast food, and it's shit here. Right, mind my language. But
That's good.
I think just come and see, try and gauge the people that live in the country. Like there's a lot of Mexicans in America, so like Mexican food obviously is decent there. There's a lot of Italians there, so Italian food would be good. So
Fair.
wherever you are, like you got to kind of gauge the kind of human beings that are living there, and then you eat that food, and then you'll be all right. So like I'm gonna take Minicon for a curry in a minute, so he's gonna like that. He'll be on the toilet all night, but it is what it is. But like, yeah, I'd say Indian food, but I'd say rather than Indian, don't search Indian, search Pakistani because
Pakistani.
some of
Okay.
the Indian restaurants are more like generic. That's
Okay.
what I say. It's not that Indian food is bad; it's the same as ours. But
Hmm.
uh, when you see Indian takeaway in the UK,
Yeah.
it's it's a generic one, so it's really annoying. But like, if you go Pakistani, it'd be like proper Indian food.
Yeah.
Do you get where I'm coming from? Not like chicken tikka masala, which we never have at
Yeah.
home. Okay. So
Mhm.
yeah, so that's one. Then Chinese food.
Okay.
is a big thing here, so I'd tell them to go there. And what else would I say? There was another one. Yeah, I'd say them two are the best. And Italian food's good here as well. Italian, I'd say it's probably better in America. The pizzas are better in America. The burgers are better in America.
Okay.
All the fast food is better in America. But yeah,
Yeah.
I'd say them things. And then if you want to, fish and chips,
Fish and chips is big in
yeah,
UK.
and doner kebabs, which are really unhealthy, but they're good in the UK.
Okay.
Better than
What
for sure.
what is it? Because you said in UK like well you said more Pakistani to be fair, but Indian food is like very tasty in the UK. Because I don't know if you've had like Indian food in the US, but like it's the opposite. Like it's
Yeah,
not good at
cool.
all. I was gonna say,
But
is it more authentic, like more authentically made in the UK than it is where like in America it's a lot more Americanized?
I think the same. We found good places in America, me and Fox,
New York.
in New York, and there is places in all of your. Where are you from, Jay?
I'm from California.
You're from California, okay. So there's good places everywhere, brother.
All right.
It's I think the same dynamic. If you type in Indian restaurant, you're gonna get that tikka masala crap. But
Yeah.
if you type in Pakistani food,
Hmm.
it'll be one of those authentic restaurants. So I think because like we went to a place, right, and it was like Indian people that owned it, but it was called a Pakistani restaurant because they wanted to be known as a authentic.
Hmm.
So it was the same thing, but we had food in New York, and it was probably the best curry I've had out. So
Interesting. Okay.
yeah,
Interesting.
up there. Probably I don't know. Fox, would you say it was better than the ones in the UK that we have in takeaways out
On
there
takeaways?
mm.
Yeah,
on restaurants? Yeah,
yeah.
and that was surprising because we looked around. We had to go into Queens, New York, on the subway
Okay.
to get it, and it was really cool.
Interesting. Wait, Fox, if Coach Stoll's putting on Indian food, what's your favorite Indian food? You gotta tell me.
Lamb karahi, all
Lamb
the way.
fry.
Lamb,
Okay.
lamb.
Okay. No, lamb is good. Lamb is gas. I that's a good choice. That's a good choice. All right.
What do you like,
I want.
Nikon?
Out here?
What do you normally have for curry if you were to
Oh,
have
I
it
didn't.
back home?
I apologize. I should ask Minicon too. Sorry. Oh yeah. Minicon? What's your favorite Indian food too?
Indian food?
Yeah.
Shit, I don't know. I be dipping naan in a lot of things.
Oh, okay.
You
Naan is
let
gas.
people
No,
pick.
I don't.
Yeah, I literally, I literally,
I talked to a
yeah,
few of
let
my
all
friends.
homies
They're
pick,
like,
and I eat it with rice.
Yeah, because he's got like loads of Pakistani friends anyway, so I'm sure they'll be like, "Ah, get this." You know?
Yeah, and
That's
like
fire.
their mom will literally come to the house.
Oh,
and
that's
cook
different
for
then.
them. Yeah,
That's even different. Yeah,
Yeah,
mom food.
she doesn't like us to ask questions. You just eat what's in front of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Fair
always really
enough.
good.
All right. I'm gonna wrap it up here. Coach Stoll, if you want to announce anything, say anything big going on with you, now's the perfect
Yeah,
time.
no, nothing big. These guys will be out soon, hopefully.
Mhm.
Fox and AJ Bunker, and then Salt's having a vacation with his family in the Philippines for about a month, and then he'll be back. He'll be training
Mhm.
out there too, and he'll be back, and then we'll be back in training, getting some big fights, chasing those big sharks next year.
Fair enough. All right. And for everyone listening here, thank you guys so much for tuning into this interview. If you guys at the end of the year, goal is still 1,000 subscribers. So please subscribe to this channel and get more fire interviews just like this. Anyways, I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.